Okay, today is August 2nd, 2015, and we're looking at the infrared loop for the Northeast Pacific. And Hurricane Guillermo is weakened to a Category 1 storm. It's been being attacked by a HAARP transmitter, and I also believe it's being hit by a laser. We see some white flashes right in the very core of this storm, and we can take a look at that in the water vapor loop. You can see right in the very blue center there, we do see some white flashes occurring, and that could be a laser to heat this core very quickly. At any rate, there is a very large scatter pattern, a blast pattern. We can see that leaving the center of this storm. Let's go ahead and look at this in the daylight. Let's see here. Take a look at this. Here we go. In the this is the visible light mode, and we can see a rather large blast ring, a HAARP ring, right here. This is from a transmitter that has heated the core of that storm and causing it to weaken. It's just another example of how it's done. And the center of this storm is weakening. We can see that by the color chart. Still has a lot of red here, but there is some weakening going on. And there is no eye wall. There hasn't been an eye wall in a couple of days. In fact, there never really was a really well-defined eye wall, because this storm has been being throttled basically since it became a hurricane. They just didn't kill it off. They let it generate to 115 miles per hour, and they kept hitting it. And now that it's getting close to the islands, they're starting to work on it a little more. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the. Let's look at this the East Pacific rainbow infrared loop. There's still plenty of monsoonal moisture here in Mexico, and we see a blast taking place here. This storm was blasted. You can see that happening very clearly. There's a ring here, a blast pattern heading due west out of that system. Let's look at this in the water vapor mode. You can see that happening very clearly. It just disappears. So that's been blown apart. And also up here, we'll take a close-up of this storm. There is a blast ring, a HAARP ring exiting the bottom of this large thunderstorm cell up here. So we'll take a look at that. This is a new disturbance that's been identified on the National Hurricane Center map right here. And we also have a low starting to spool up right here. This is a separate little weather system, and we'll keep an eye on that. That'll probably be killed off here in the next couple of days. Let's go ahead and look at the next map. Alright, here's that other thunderstorm I was just mentioning. We'll look at this in the visible light mode. The bottom of this is being blown out by a transmitter. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Here we go. Okay, right here we can see a very well-defined ring right coming out of the bottom of that storm, and a couple extra shock waves right behind it. And that is the result of a HAARP blast, superheated air, and just destroys the storm, weakens it. Okay. Let's see what else is going on here. Now, a couple of things I wanted to point out. This long channel that's been built out by a phased array radar. They can cut a path, a very precise path with a phased array radar, and that's what's happened here. And that is steering all this weather around this high pressure over Texas, which is being rebuilt. That's a very strong high, and that will bring all this weather out to the east once again. So on the news tonight in LA, the weather, they told us that there was a high parked over California, but in fact it's the core of that high is over Arizona. At least that's what this map is indicating. And this channel here will serve to cut off the moisture flow that's been feeding this monsoonal pattern, and also block this low pressure from delivering rain of any substance into the state. So the high pressure dominates once again. This channel here is going to cut off this moisture flow, and they're going to isolate this, I predict, in the next day, and they will blow it apart. I don't think they're going to allow this storm to go right over the tops of these islands. Not when they've been destroying all the previous hurricanes out here in open waters. Why would they let this storm go over the Hawaiian Islands? I don't think that's going to happen. So I predict tomorrow, August 3rd, will be the day that this is completely wiped out, and then we'll have some residual clouds and thunderstorms that will drift probably just up to the north here, because they have this dominating high pressure spinning clockwise right here. Okay, so that's my forecast. There's some other things going on here. I don't want to take up too much more time, but we have a low here that's being hit with hot air. The hot air, the transmitter's focusing here, sucking it into the core. The core will weaken and it'll look just like this low pressure in about 2 days. Look just like that. That's how they weaken it. Here we have a transmitter focused here. That is blocking this flow. This is mushrooming right into this electronic wall that they've set up here, and the flow has to go out and around and down this way. So they have a variety of techniques to do what they want to do. Here's another little low pressure spinning. There's a whole bunch of them. Anyhow, we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll do another one tomorrow. Let's take a quick look at the hurricane forecast. Right now this is a Category 1 storm, 85-mile-per-hour winds, and it's supposed to go right over the top of Hawaii, the Big Island, and right over the top of Oahu, Maui, Oahu, and all the rest of them. So we'll keep an eye on all this, and we'll do another one tomorrow. And if anything develops, we'll put something up sooner. Okay, so that's it.